Look, we have a lot of Christmas decorations in my house. In this room specifically, we have an absolute ton. And while many of them have been here for many, many years, it feels like every year we get more and more. Like this Snoopy snow globe was not here last year, and I think it was a gift someone gave my sister. I don't remember, guys. A lot of these just come from random places, random gifts, and they just join the pile. They accumulate. They join our massive army of ornaments. This isn't even close to all of them. We can't even put them all up every year anymore. But there's one that's been recently showing up for the past few years that really confuses me. And I have no clue why we have it on display. This is just a tin container. This was a box of cookies that someone gave my mom as a gift a few years back. And for whatever reason, it's on display here. And I saw it and I was like, okay, why did we put this up? Maybe there's something inside of it, you know? Look, that's a basket over there full of books, right? That's a basket full of Christmas cards. Maybe there's something in here. So here's the thing. There's nothing in here, but the cookie tin is a music box that only works when you shake it, because I'm pretty sure it's broken. So this gets to go up, but every single year I have to fight my family about keeping the frog ornament. Come on, unfair. Hello everybody, and welcome to day 5 of 25 Days of Suggestions 2025. That was a lot of fives. Today I am very excited, and not only because it's the 1-year anniversary of Marvel Rivals, which I'm gonna go play after this. They released like a rewind, like a Spotify Wrapped style thing they called Rivals Rewind, and just going over what you did in the last year, and I'm very excited and also very nervous to check mine out. I don't want to know how much I've sunk into this game. Anyway, I'm also very excited because today we're taking a look at Professor Z, a very cool, very interesting Cars diecast, and one who's kind of garnered an interesting reputation over the past few years. Because, oh my gosh, why hasn't he been re-released? Professor Z was suggested by Carson Motion. Thank you so much for your suggestion, as always. And if you want to suggest a car for 25 days suggestions and haven't yet, feel free to do so in the comments. I did recently say that I would be cutting off suggestions after today, after the 5th. But since today's episode is releasing so late, I'm going to extend it one more day, because I think it's unfair to be like, hey, you want to make a suggestion in this video, and maybe someone sees this and this is the first one they watch, and they go, oh, I'll suggest it. And then I'm like, yeah, the cutoff date is 2 hours after this gets posted. You know, I don't want to do that. So cutoff is going to be the end of, tomorrow, end of December 6th. Now, Professor Z is a car I've reviewed several times over the history of my channel, and like I said, over recent years, he's garnered a reputation of just never re-releasing. For whatever reason, despite being one of the primary antagonists of Cars 2, we haven't seen Professor Z since the 2011-2012 Cars diecast line. Specifically, I think it was the 2-pack with Acer with helmet was the last time we ever saw this guy get released. And now that the Lemons are back in the diecast line, you know, we got 2 Lemons re-released in 2023 with Vladimir and Tubbs, and notably, this year, 2025, we got Grem and Acer back, with Grem being another car with a ridiculously long wait time. It took 13 years for Grem to come back. Now, I think more than ever, Professor Z really needs to make an appearance in the diecast line. And unfortunately, it seems that 2026 is once again skipping over the Lemons. So hopefully, if they keep up the trend of Lemons being a biannual release, Professor Z will be out in 2027. Hopefully, since he's, I guess, skipping over 2026. I mean, look, this is a car that the toy line should not go a decade and almost a decade and a half without. It's kind of a ridiculous exclusion from the line. We've had several Miles Axelrods back. We've had so many Lemons back over the years. Finally got Grem and Acer back this year. But to have Professor Z, who's not only a significant character in the movie, but also just such a cool and unique item, not return, It's really a shame. So hopefully he's coming back soon. He's the type of item that's not only cool to get for both kids and collectors alike, he's just a very unique and interesting item. So let's take a closer look here. Of course, we got his little Z logo there on the front. All the things I could say to start. I start with a Z logo? Okay, me, good job. He got his big old gnarly teeth, and of course his iconic monocle. See that line there? Yeah, for many, many years, my Professor Z was without his monocle. Luckily for me, I never lost it. It just stayed in the bin that I kept my cars in, and I was able to re-glue it. But for a very long time, my Professor Z had no monocle. And when I was filming videos as a kid, I filmed a bunch of Cars videos before I had my channel. I would just be like, oh, well, at the end of Cars 2, the magnet rips off Professor Z's monocle, so, you know, he just still doesn't have it. Still doesn't have it. And you know what's funny? I talked about how Professor Z hasn't come back and how everyone's been waiting for it, but ironically enough, I'm kind of infamous for never using Professor Z in my videos. Despite Cars Adventures being, you know, a series with, I'm pretty sure, more installments than One Piece at this point, I've almost never used Professor Z. And I've had people ask me questions about that and where he is and stuff like that. And while more recent episodes and more recent years have alluded to the Lemons searching for him, my decision was quite simple. While Professor Z appeared in some of the earliest seasons of Cars Adventures, back when I was first starting the series, I came up with the idea to pick one significant Cars character to not use and basically save for a rainy day, and I landed on Professor Z. So the series has been without Professor Z for nearly its entire runtime, and more recent episodes have started to build up towards him. Of course, Cars Adventures has been on hiatus for quite a while now, but Lemon stuff I was working on and am still working on with the series is building up to Professor Z showing up, since we're now reaching sort of the end game stage of Cars Adventures. And yeah, I just think it's pretty funny in hindsight that the character I picked to never show in the series is also the item that just keeps not getting re-released when people ask for it. Z150 right in there. Before we fully move to the side, I do want to mention that Professor Z has a really great and in-character facial expression. I think it just fits him so perfectly. I also absolutely love the wireframe top that looks like wiry hair. He genuinely, they somehow got like the German mad scientist stereotype to work on a car very, very well. With that very distinct sort of balding, almost comb-over, slicked hair going on. I just think it's so funny and so clever. Always fun to see how they incorporate hair into Cars characters. You can see a bit of dirt and grime detailing there at the bottom of Professor Z. His license plate is pretty fun. Bad Guy 58. Why it doesn't say Guy, I don't know. Is the 58 a reference? I would assume perhaps. Hold on. If you hear typing, I am definitely not Googling Professor Z's actor right now, so we can see if this is a a reference to the date of birth of Professor Z's voice actor. Let's see. No. That's not his date of birth. Okay, that's a little awkward. Maybe it's his car model. I'm not sure. I do like that he has that one singular door handle to open up his back. That's a very fun detail. Something you don't see on a lot of modern cars. But, of course, Professor Z here is a lemon. So, it's a great touch. There is a look at the other side. There is a look at the base. He's basically just a rectangle, which is pretty funny. And now, it is time to see who tomorrow's review is going to be. So, I got to start off by adding the cars that have been suggested since last time. We got a couple to add here. Let's see. All right, I keep these all in a separate document and I post them over here. All right, now it's time to run the name picker and see tomorrow's review, which is Brand New Mater. All right, that is another one I'm very, very excited about. One I feel like I haven't taken a look at in quite a while. And that was actually a suggestion that I got just yesterday. So congratulations to the person who suggested Brand New Mater. But there you have it, guys. Professor Z. I got a Marvel Rivals recap to read, so I'm gonna head out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 6. Bye now.